How we doing, guys? Some people have asked a little bit about my political views. And this is a subject that can go on for a lot of videos. One of the things I can talk about though is in case any of you haven't bothered to read my profile information or tell by the obvious way that I talk, I'm not British, I'm not German, I'm American. Okay, I'm American. Alright, in case you couldn't tell, I'm pretty sure you guys could, but yeah. Where do I stand politically? Like, let's get some basics out of the way. Although I am grateful to be living in this country, believe me, I am grateful to be living in this country. There are a bunch of worse places I could have been dumped. So, and I'm grateful for that every day. But that doesn't mean that I think the place is perfect. America's not a perfect place. Let's establish that right now. There are a lot of problems with America. There are a lot of problems with our society. There are a lot of problems with the way our government works. And as a Christian, there's a lot that I don't like about it. Now, that sounds kind of funny, doesn't it? Because most Christians are conservative. Here's a big shocker for you. I'm a very, very big Christian. I'm also a very, very big leftist. Very big leftist. If you really want to be blunt, you could call me a socialist. But, I guess today, I can divide it up into different topics about what I think. But today, what do I think about America's role globally? A lot of people don't like Americans. Or at least they don't like the American government and what it does. And it's a very complex situation. But when I really think about it, this is the real reason why, and I think I got a good metaphor for it. If you think back to high school, I like to think of the world as a giant high school, and every country is like a different social clique in its own little separate enclosed place, and it's all about these different groups competing against each other, trying to say who's the big boss. Well, America's kind of like the jocks of that high school. We really are. Why? Because we're really big and tough. We're really big and tough. We think that the way we think is the coolest way to think. And we have no problem pushing that on everybody else. I'm not saying all Americans do. I'm just discussing, the way that our government works. So if we don't like something, we have no problem coming up to, the other kid in the hallway and be like, hey man, we don't like what you're doing, we're going to push you down, And that really pisses a lot of people off, and it makes us look very impulsive. And I really think that we as a country, as Americans, now I shouldn't say that we as Americans, because I know I have a lot of other listeners from other places in the world. I've checked. I got a couple from England, a couple from, I think there's a guy from Canada. There's also somebody from the Netherlands. That's really cool. I'm just saying this, from an American perspective, I think that our government, we need to learn to be a little bit more diplomatic. And I think right now, America's got a bad rep right now, mainly because of the last president we had. We went very impulsively into war with Iraq. And I personally wasn't thrilled with it. I am a supporter of our troops, and I support the troops every day, and I always pray for them to be safe. But I don't always support where our government sends our troops to. And I was never a fan of Iraq. I always felt like Iraq was irrelevant to the real threats against our country. But I really think it's a good example, though, of how, our government, we're very impulsive, and we really like to, we like to really just push before we talk about things. And I have a lot of faith in our president right now, Barack Obama. That's who I voted for. And I hope that he's going to turn things in the right direction and turn America into a diplomatic country, where we can actually sit down and talk about stuff. Because, like I said, right now, we're really the jock country. We don't want to talk about stuff. We just want to talk with our fists. and it's gotten us into a lot of trouble globally. But like I said, even though I don't think this country's a perfect place, I'm still grateful to live in this country, and I don't think it's the greatest country in the world, but I don't think it's a nightmare either. But, that's where I stand politically on that point, and I can get into some other issues of the kinds of stuff that I think. Now, I'm not up my ass. I'm not going to pulverize you if you're conservative and you don't like the way that I think. I mean, hey, that's one of the things I really like about this country is that we have our First Amendment right, and if you don't like the way I think, you're more than happy to say how much you think the way I think sucks. But I've always been curious to know, what is there a particular type of politics that Asperger people tend to get into? I mean, you can ponder all kinds of questions. Hey, maybe Asperger people tend to be more conservative because we don't like change, or hey, maybe Asperger people tend to be more liberal because we like to make things different, and we like to, and well, maybe I shouldn't say different, but we like to we like to adjust things towards our own needs. Who knows? You can ponder all kinds of questions, or maybe Asperger people are more liberal because they don't like the way that society has treated them. Neurotypical people have treated them. Who knows? We can ponder all kinds of things. If you guys do want to talk politics, hell, feel free to post some crap up. But that's where I can start off with that.